The year is 30 BCE. Cleopatra, the last pharaoh of Egypt, is dead. But her story is far from over. Her legacy is not merely confined to the shifting sands of ancient Egypt or the pages of history books. It's woven into the very fabric of Western civilization. Stick with me, and by the end of this video, you'll understand why Cleopatra is more than a historical figure. She is a symbol of power, diplomacy, and vision, whose legacy still resonates across the globe. She was not the first Cleopatra to rule Egypt. Her father, Ptolemy XII, had reigned before her, but the Ptolemaic dynasty was in decline. Egypt, once the jewel of the Mediterranean world, had fallen into political turmoil. The throne was unstable, and Cleopatra's family was embroiled in a bitter struggle for survival. Cleopatra understood that her rule would be tenuous without the support of Rome, and Caesar needed Egypt's resources, particularly its grain. Their union wasn't just a romantic entanglement. It was a strategic alliance that solidified Cleopatra's position as queen. Egypt's resources, its wealth, grain, and manpower, became intertwined with Rome's ambitions, ensuring Cleopatra's reign would have far-reaching consequences. Cleopatra understood that her legacy wasn't just about Egypt. It was about ensuring her kingdom's survival in an ever-changing world. Cleopatra bore Caesar a son, Ptolemy 15 Caesar, famously known as Caesarion. Octavian, the future Emperor Augustus, was ruthless in his pursuit of power. The final battle between the forces of Antony and Octavian at Actium in 31 BCE would seal the fate of Cleopatra and Antony. After their defeat, Cleopatra's fate was sealed, and she would die by suicide in 30 BCE, leaving behind a kingdom in ruins and an empire forever changed. Though Caesar never acknowledged Caesarion as his heir, the symbolic union of Rome and Egypt gave Cleopatra powerful leverage over the future of her kingdom. But while her reign came to an end, her influence did not. Cleopatra's legacy can be seen in the ways her relationships with Caesar and Antony impacted the future of Rome. Do you see her more as a political genius or as a victim of circumstance? Let me know in the comments below. And if you're fascinated by Cleopatra's complex legacy, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into history's most compelling figures. Cleopatra, as a descendant of Greek Ptolemaic rulers, spoke Egyptian and embraced the gods and culture of Egypt, thus symbolizing the blending of two ancient civilizations. Stay curious, and I'll see you in the next video. She was not merely a ruler. She was a cultural icon, one who shaped the arts, science, and religion of her time. She was not just a lover or a queen. She was a force that shaped the political landscape of the ancient world. Her reign shaped the course of Western civilization, influencing political systems, cultural norms, and even the way we view female leadership. The queen who once navigated the tumultuous waters of Roman politics has become an enduring symbol of strength, intelligence, and the complexities of power. Cleopatra and Antony envisioned a world in which they ruled together, a world in which Egypt was a dominant force and Rome's political future was in their hands. She was a woman who played the game of power on her own terms, who defied expectations and held her own against some of the most powerful men in history. Today, her legacy serves as a reminder that power, intellect, and diplomacy are not limited by gender or circumstance. It was Cleopatra's vision and diplomatic prowess that helped pave the way for the rise of Augustus, the first Roman emperor, and the transformation of Rome into a dominant empire. Their union, both political and personal, was an embodiment of Cleopatra's brilliant use of diplomacy and charisma. Together, they formed a powerful partnership that would shape the ancient world. Her life, filled with intrigue, political brilliance, and unmatched charisma, left a mark on the ancient world that has endured for centuries. But how did this enigmatic queen, often remembered for her beauty and tumultuous love affairs, shape the world we know today? Cleopatra wasn't just the lover of powerful men. She was a masterful politician who understood the delicate balance of power. The two formed a partnership that would set the stage for one of the most dramatic power struggles in history. Antony, a Roman general, was intent on challenging the growing dominance of Octavian, Caesar's adopted heir. Cleopatra, ever the astute strategist, saw an opportunity to align with Antony and expand her influence in the Mediterranean. Her relationship with Caesar, which included a political and military alliance, was crucial in keeping Egypt independent from Rome's growing influence. Hello, in this deep dive, we're going to explore Cleopatra's lasting impact, not just on Egypt, but on the ancient world as a whole. Cleopatra VII Philopator was born into a world of political intrigue, a world in which power was everything. When Cleopatra took the throne in 51 BCE, she was only 18 years old. Inheriting a kingdom fractured by internal strife and the growing dominance of Rome, Cleopatra's first challenge was survival. But she was no mere bystander. Her intelligence and ability to navigate the complex world of politics were her greatest assets. She quickly forged an alliance with Julius Caesar, the most powerful man in Rome at the time. It's here that her legacy began to take shape. Cleopatra's relationship with Julius Caesar wasn't born of mere romance. It was a calculated political move. In 48 BCE, Caesar came to Egypt to settle a civil war, and he encountered Cleopatra, who had cleverly smuggled herself into his presence, wrapped in a carpet. The implications of this union were profound. After Caesar's assassination in 44 BCE, Cleopatra turned to another powerful Roman figure, Marc Antony. Their alliance was marked by both military victories and scandal, but it was also marked by a shared vision for the future. But, like all power struggles, it didn't last. Cleopatra's death marked the end of the Ptolemaic dynasty and the beginning of Egypt's annexation into the Roman Empire. Her death created a power vacuum in Egypt, and Octavian's victory over Antony and Cleopatra solidified his control over Rome and its territories. But Cleopatra's influence wasn't confined to politics. She was a symbol of cultural fusion, bridging the divide between the Greco-Roman world and the ancient Egyptian traditions. Cleopatra's legacy is far from being just a footnote in history. In a world where women have historically been marginalized, Cleopatra's story continues to inspire. Now, I want to hear from you. How do you think Cleopatra's relationships with Caesar and Antony influenced the future of Rome and Egypt? Thank you for watching. And remember, Cleopatra's story is not just the tale of a woman. It is the story of a queen who shaped the ancient world, leaving a legacy that endures to this day.